battle for Hong Kong, also known as the Defense of Hong Kong, and the Fall of Hong Kong, fought from December 8th to December 25th, 1941, was one of the earliest and most intense battles in the Pacific theater of World War II. Often overshadowed by larger battles like Pearl Harbor or Midway, the defense of Hong Kong was a dramatic and heartbreaking episode of bravery, sacrifice, and strategic missteps. As the Second Sino-Japanese War raged between China and Japan during the late 1930s, Great Britain was forced to examine its plans for the defense of Hong Kong. In studying the situation, it was quickly found that the colony would be difficult to hold in the face of a determined Japanese attack. In 1940, with World War II consuming Europe, the government in London began reducing the size of the Hong Kong garrison to free troops for use elsewhere. As Japan aggressively expanded its empire across Asia in the early 20th century, the British colony of Hong Kong became a vulnerable outpost. Despite growing threats, the British government underestimated Japan's military capabilities and believed Hong Kong could still hold out for months. In 1941, the colony was defended by a garrison of around 14,000 troops, including British soldiers, Canadian regiments, Indian troops, and members of the local Hong Kong Volunteer Defense Corps. Facing them were over 50,000 well-equipped and battle-hardened Japanese soldiers from the 23rd Army, supported by tanks, heavy artillery, and air power. Just hours after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, Japanese forces launched a coordinated assault on British-held Hong Kong. The attack began on December 8th, taking advantage of Hong Kong's proximity to Japanese-occupied Guangdong province in southern China. The Japanese army quickly overran the new territories in the Gin Drinkers Line, a poorly fortified and hastily constructed defensive line. The defenders were forced to retreat to Kowloon Peninsula and then to Hong Kong Island, which became the last stronghold. Despite valiant resistance from Allied troops and fierce urban combat, the defenders were overwhelmed by superior Japanese numbers and firepower. From December 13 onwards, Japanese troops began intense bombardments of Hong Kong Island. By December 18, they had landed on the northern shores and rapidly advanced. The defenders, including Canadian forces from the Winnipeg Grenadiers and Royal Rifles of Canada, fought heroically in places like Wong Nai Chung Gap, Stanley, and Repulse Bay. However, the Japanese advance was relentless. The defenders suffered from lack of supplies, poor coordination, and exhaustion. Civilian casualties mounted as shelling hit hospitals, homes, and refugee shelters. The city was burning, the population terrorized. On December 25, 1941, known as Black Christmas, British Governor Sir Mark Aitchison Young officially surrendered Hong Kong to Japanese General Takashi Sakai at the Peninsula Hotel Hong Kong. The defenders had held out for 17 brutal days. The surrender of Hong Kong cost the British around 10,000 captured, as well as 2,113 killed or missing, and 2,300 wounded during the battle. Japanese casualties in the fighting numbered 1,996 killed and around 6,000 wounded. Many of these prisoners of war, POWs, would later endure years of mistreatment, forced labor, and inhumane conditions in Japanese camps. The battle marked the first time Canadian troops fought in the Pacific War, and they suffered some of the highest casualty rates. The Japanese occupation of Hong Kong lasted until 1945 and was marked by brutality, starvation, and political repression. Thousands of civilians died due to food shortages, forced labor, and violent crackdowns. The once thriving city fell into deep hardship. Yet the battle for Hong Kong also ignited long-lasting resilience among its people. Local Chinese residents played a crucial role in resisting the occupation, helping Allied soldiers escape and maintaining secret lines of communication. These early acts of resistance laid the foundation for future civil resistance and memory in Hong Kong. Though often overlooked in popular history, the battle for Hong Kong was a pivotal moment. It demonstrated Japan's aggressive military reach, highlighted the weaknesses of Allied planning, and became a rallying point for future Canadian and British military remembrance. It also left a permanent mark on Hong Kong's identity, a mix of colonial legacy, wartime trauma, and resistance. In Canada, the sacrifices made by the Sea Force, as the Canadian units were called, are remembered every year. In Hong Kong, monuments like Sai Wan War Cemetery and Stanley Military Cemetery serve as somber reminders of this devastating yet courageous stand. The Allies officially retook Hong Kong from Japanese forces after Japan's unconditional surrender on August 15, 1945. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe, like, comment, and hit that notification bell for more upcoming videos. Also check out our community tab on World History quizzes.